is Rich Chia, and I've been asked to do this interview by my daughter, Kelsey, and it's about the way media has affected my life. I remember as a kid, I was born in 1968 in Cleveland, at a hospital in Cleveland. I grew up in Maple Heights until graduated from Maple Heights High School in 1986. Did some time at Cleveland State University. I am not college educated. I've got a few years. I don't have a degree. From there, got married in 1992. We lived in a duplex home till 1993 before we bought our first home back in Maple Heights. We stayed there until 2002, and then we moved to Kent, Ohio, to be closer to our church, and yeah, we've been there ever since. And as a kid, the first TV we ever had was big console TV. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ones that come in the big wood box. And it was black and white. No such thing as cable. There were probably about 5 or 6 channels, and we were basically my dad's remote control. Whenever he wanted the channel changed, he would tell us to change the channel. So that's my first recollection of electronic media, the television. Nothing for us was instant. If you heard about something on the news and you wanted to know more about it, the only way to do that was to wait for the newspaper the next day. When I was a kid, there were 2 local newspapers, the Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Cleveland Press, and a lot of my friends delivered newspapers house to house early in the mornings. So those were that's basically how we got our information when we were young, was you had to wait for the newspaper if you didn't catch it on the news. Another interesting thing when we were young was all the television channels signed off at midnight, which means there was no TV. There were no TV channels to watch between midnight and 5 or 6 a.m. So it was a different ball game back then. At the same time, we listened to a lot of radio, nothing like it is today. It was a lot more AM, and AM actually played music back then. And beyond that, my dad played a lot of records, a lot of Sinatra, a lot of Nat King Cole, the Kingston Trio. You don't know who any of those are, you can Google that nowadays. We couldn't Google it back then. Growing up, we spent a lot of family time watching probably sitcoms. MASH was probably one that we always got together for. That was about the Korean War and a bunch of doctors and nurses, and that was a sitcom. So the internet is something that's transformed everybody's lives. Has it made us a better world? That's up for debate. Has things like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter made us, the social networking? I think it makes us less social, personally, because now, instead of picking up a phone and talking to your friend, you click on the like button or you click on the share button. There's no conversation. The art of communication is gone. People don't know how to talk to each other anymore because they don't. You text, you send Snapchats, and all the other cool stuff that you're probably surprised that I know about. But yeah, I think the social networks have made us actually less social. Absolutely, without a doubt. Our house, we have 2 TVs, which makes us a rarity, just having 2 in a family of 5. But on top of that, now we have laptops, desktop computers, iPads, iPhones, so everybody can be in the same room doing 4 different things, and that's not quality family time. What I do, I'm the shipping director at Alro Steel. I'm not sitting still for too long at any point in the day, so I don't have a lot of time to just sit there and read and hammer out responses to emails. A lot of our email conversations could be handled with a quick phone call. Once again, the lost art of communication. Sometimes, it's great because we're talking to people states away, but when you're talking to a guy that's only 300 feet away, picking up a phone would probably get the job done a lot quicker. So a lot of email throughout the day. I use it to keep track of my children, see what they're up to, you know, keep an eye on them, know where they're at with texting and what's going on with them with Facebook, because that's kind of the way we communicate nowadays.